Hi there. Um, Found this great little project that allows you to set up RAG agents with Llama 3. And I thought it'd be a great idea to have a container, a Docker container, that does this for us. In fact, I'll let you, since I've done Visual Studio Code, Docker, and Python, we'll go ahead and use all those technologies to create a Docker container that you can use either on Windows or Fedora or maybe even uh, GitHub's what they call Codespaces. So without further ado, so our first step would be to go to this website here on GitHub and go ahead and download the code. And you can see that you can SSH your code here. I'll just copy that link. And what you want to do is type git clone and then paste that link and then wait a few seconds. And this is where it'll take a little bit. Download that project. Really, it's tiny because none of it has been downloaded. Of course, there's no images or anything else. This is just the Docker images. So the next thing you want to do is go ahead and fire up Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we'll just go ahead and type in code and then the name of the directory. Of course, I'm using tab completion. Then we can hit enter and it'll bring it up in the wrong window. So I'm going to look over this window. I'm going to pull it over here. And there's our project. I said Docker images. What I meant to say was Docker file. I'm sorry about that. But so the Docker file is here. The first thing it pulls in is a base Fedora image for us. It'll create this user called ollama. It will also pull in a bunch of other little things that we think we needed to get this working, make it a little bit nicer place to work inside the container. And then finally, we're going to bring in all the things that I believe Lance Mike Chain recommended in his video. I think I got everything. I might have missed something because I'll show you a little problem that I had a little bit later on with this code, but maybe it was a change in one of these modules that did it. And then finally, we go ahead and install ollama. Now we won't install Llama 3 in this process because frankly I didn't know how to do it. But we install it on the first run, and then we'll keep it around in a cached directory. So I'll show you how that happens. Let me point out something at this point. Of course, you should have Docker already installed. And what we also want to do is make sure that we have certain Visual Studio Code extensions installed. So there's an extension for Docker that you also have to find in the marketplace and download it also. And then there's finally something called dev containers that basically allows you to control your containers, and that's also something that you want to download and install. And of course, you can find all of these in the marketplace. If you didn't know, you can go into the search tab and type in, for example, Docker, and then it will try to find everything in the marketplace that matches that. So, oh, there it is. And so, if it's already installed, they won't have the little boot button that says install. So this one's already installed for us. Okay. There's a lot of things you can get from the marketplace, of course, for Visual Studio Code, which is awesome. All right. So finally, what we want to do here is if we have dev containers installed, you can hit this greater than less than sign at the bottom there and go down to reopen in container. What that's going to do is going to do a lot of things for us the first time we do it. The first time we do it, when we click it, it will try to open that container with that specific Docker file that we created. And of course, it's going to, if we don't have it already on our local system, it's going to download Fedora base. It's going to download all the packages. So that's going to take a while. let me show you how you can keep an eye on it if you want to look at that. But go ahead and hit reopen in container, and then it looks like it's doing nothing. And of course, it'll just stay like this until it's done. But if you hover over this blue title right here, you click on it, and now you can see what it's doing. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And notice that it's pulling down a bunch of stuff. I might have some of this already cached on my system, so it may not be pulling down everything that I thought it would be pulling down, but it will go through that entire process. Now, I also have a make file in this that has, well, we can't see it right now as it's pulling things down, but the make file will allow you to for example, if you wanted to clean out all your images, and I mean all of them, I mean everything that's probably way too much images, but you know, use at your own risk, right? If you want to wipe out all your images on your local system for Docker, use at your own risk. You know, this was like no warranty, but if you do that, it will clean up everything, all your local images, so you can re-download them again. So be careful with that make file. And if you're not sure about what it does, then don't do it. But the one reason I have a make file is just because I do a lot of testing with this before I put it out there on video, and so that make file just helps me kind of keep track of things, clean things up after I'm done, so I can try it again on a different operating system, etc., etc., etc. And so it does a lot for us. Now it's all in the magic. Now it's all in the dev containers magic that we don't see that it's doing a Docker pull, and it's going through the Docker file, and it's going through every one of these little things that's going that it's doing in that Docker file. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for now, and then jump forward to when it's done. You might see something like this. This is kind of confusing. It'll just stop, and you might just look like, oh, is it stuck? Is it broken? Does it need to be rebooted? No, none of those things. It's just done. So what you need to do is just click on the plus sign, and immediately you go into a terminal window inside your container, so that you can go ahead and start programming. Now, the only thing that's left to do is well, there's actually two things. One is we're going to have to run the ollama server, and two would be to download llama 3. And so in my make file, I have that step, and all you need to do is type make run, and it will take a few seconds to fire up the server that needs to be running, and the server is going to be running inside your container. And I hope you understand the difference between a server running on your container versus a server running on your Windows system. And so it's not running on your Windows system, it's running inside the container. And once it does that, then it can download the Llama 3 model for you. And so again, this first time it's going to take forever. It's going to download 4 gig or however big that Llama 3 model is. And so again, I'm going to let it I'm going to use the magic of video and fast forward through that. But as you can see down here, it's already starting to pull that, and based on how fast your internet might be, this might take a few minutes, it may take an hour, it might take a while. So anyways, I'll see you in the next part of this. Okay, so we're now done with our download of Llama 3, and if you make the mistake of rerunning or basically typing make run again, it's smart enough to figure out, hey, is the ollama service running. If it is, I won't start again. And also, let me check the consistency of the image of the Llama 3 model. And it'll do a quick check, but it won't download the whole thing. If it finds it's consistent, it's going to be fine, and it's going to be a lot faster for you. So it's not going to be doing that again. Now, we finally get to the part where we want to run the notebook. And so we're going to close this bottom part here. And if this isn't Python, just click on it, and then you might see this. You might see Python environments existing. Go ahead and click on Python environments and click on the global environment one. You'll be fine using that. And then go ahead and hit the triangle here to start that first one, and immediately you should get an error saying, hey, this file isn't found, probably because you don't have a Tably API key. You can get a free one at tably.com, and that's what I did. So go ahead and click on there, register, get your free API key, and you want to put it in a file. And so I happen to have one. This is how you make the directory over here. Just go ahead and click on the main, the Explorer sidebar, click on the folder, click on create .secret. Ta-da. Rename this file. Sorry. Rename that file. I didn't even notice that was not correctly renamed here. And then you can copy it into that folder and expose your API key, which I've been trying really hard not to expose. And so finally, now you'll rerun it again, and it says, okay, I found it, great. And then finally, now you should, if you want to see all the results, I mean, I go ahead and clear all outputs just for grins here, and now run all, and it's going to run all the cells, so you're going to be able to see all of Lance's outputs as he goes along. And of course, not all of these cells have outputs, so you might go on to the next one, you might find out, oh, by the way, good thing I scrolled down, because this is an error. It looks really nasty, but apparently I don't know what it has to do with. Apparently it does not affect the environment, so it seems to be okay with that one. But notice that as you move along, it's going to be able to do the next one without a problem. And so it's going to go on to the next one, depending on how fast your system, your laptop is. You're going to get results. I have a decent graphics card, a RTX 3060 NVIDIA, but it's on a laptop, so it's not as fast, blazing fast as maybe on a system. And so you'll see it go. You'll see it, generate these answers one by one. And again, through the magic of video, I'll show you what the final answers will look like. All right, so we finally got everything compiled. Seriously, I had to double check things. The Docker configuration, my WSL configuration, may not have allowed enough memory for the containers, so it may have gone into one of those strange hallucination loops that I hear about every once in a while. I think it really is a memory issue, and so I tweaked my WSL config to have a lot more memory available to it. And so that's how I fixed it. But let me go ahead and show you the results. And so, the first one, that's the result there. Pretty much going to look like what Lance has on his. So you got the scores is equal to yes. And, some of the text here you know, you're gonna be able to see what the text was, um, and then another score yes, you know, vector store, blah blah blah, all the way down to his actual, what I call his positive and negative test, right? So his positive test, hey, did it work? Does it go through my long path of, hey, you know, hit the data source and do all the calculations it needed to. There it is. Yes, it does. And so you can see it and produces the same answer that he does, and grades all the papers, grades the hallucination, you know, all that good stuff. And then he tries his negative test where it isn't. You know, in his data store, it's out on the web somewhere, so it has to go out there and do it on the web, etc. So let me go back, and when I was trying to do the to figure out what the hallucination problem was, I am 99% sure it's a memory problem. I may just not have enough memory allocated to my containers, even though this laptop has like 40 gigs of RAM. It just wasn't enough memory allocated to the container, so you have to mess around with the WSL config. But in doing so, I added something called too many attempts. And so if you see that in there, or if you're playing around with this and you see that error, I added that error here too. And it says failed with too many attempts. So after 3 attempts, 3 hallucinations, it's going to try to fail out. Hopefully, hopefully it'll fail out, right? And then also way up here, I forgot to mention this last time, but way up here, there was a strange problem, and I think it's been reported somewhere on the the chat that what was it again? What was it again? Let me go back to embeddings. It was the embeddings. The embeddings would not work for me, and so I had to switch to a different embeddings module, which seemed to work for me fine. So if there's a difference, if you see a difference between his code and my code, that would be the reason. That and the you can't retry hallucination. I mean, non-grounded too many times. Otherwise, I'll let you fail out with an error. Okay, and that's the end of the tutorial. Let me just recap what we did. You can run it on any host platform. I've tried Linux and actually developed on Linux on 2 different types of laptops. One with an NVIDIA card, one with an AMD. They seem to work fine. I also tried GitHub Codespaces just because I put the project up there and I thought it was a neat idea, so I just wanted to try it and it did work. Let me know if you want to see a video of how to get that up and running. I also tried it on Windows 11. I actually tried it while I was producing the video because I thought I wouldn't have any issues, but apparently I did with the .WSL config, and it just seemed to be a memory issue. Anyways, if you find anything else, please let me know. Write an issue on GitHub, and I'll be happy to try to figure it out, or get in contact with me, and we'll see if we can work things out. Anyways, let me know if you have some great ideas or what to do next. Take care and God bless.